MCC Season 2 has come to an end after 15 incredible events that saw some of the greatest Minecraft players go head to head in battle. But who turned out to be the best of the best this season, beating out all the competition to prove they are the ultimate champion? These are the top 100 MCC players of Season 2. But before we begin, these are the official canon stats for Season 2 as collected by the Ultra Sheep Lord and their team. So if your favourite player is low on this list than you think they deserve, let me know in the comments section below your top 10 of this season. And whilst you're down there, please subscribe. This video is a huge project and therefore has taken so much time to make, so if you could subscribe it would mean the world to me. However, enough messing around, let's begin with 86th, CRANKGAMEPLAYS. Okay, so I lied a tiny bit. There's actually only been 86 canon players this season instead of 100, which does mean we're unfortunately missing out on players from Pride, Rising and Underdogs, as they were either non-canon or semi-canon to the stats. That wouldn't have changed Ethan's position however, as amazingly he has 0 points after not even getting to take part in one game during his canon debut event, MCC 23, after issues with his computer, but I do promise from now on all these players will be proper, starting with 85th, James Turner. Our first of the Simmers and our first player with points to his name, James Turner has played in 3 events this season, unfortunately getting last in all but one where he came second to last, giving him an average score of 550 points. 84th, Dr. Gulon. Second Simmer up next, as Dr. Gulon has slightly better stats than James Turner, finishing 38th in 2 of his 3 events with a 39th finish added on for good luck to give him an average score of 640 points. 83rd, VIXELLA. We complete our trio with VIXELLA, who's actually finished above the top 30 in MCC 17, where she teamed up with Fruit, Illumina and of course ZEUZ, which has helped her average to 882 points. Although with her training arc recently, she may very well be looking to rise more in the future. 82nd, Tina. The wonderful Tina has taken part in 2 canon events this season, only ever being on the Green Geckos. She just misses out on the 1000 point mark with a score of 983. 81st, Ludwig. Talking of the 1000 mark, our first player to reach it is the one and only Ludwig, with a score of 1062 points, although technically he's only taken part in 1 canon event this season, being the very last. 80th, King BURREN. Our 2-time Season 1 winner unfortunately hasn't had a similar experience this time around, although he has only taken part in 1 event, where he got a score of 1060 points. 79th, Niachu. The wonderful Nikki played a lot of MCC during the start of Season 2, taking part in 7 events, with her best event being MCC 14, that has helped push up her average to 1201. 78th, CONNOREATSPANTS. The legendary S tier that is CONNOREATSPANTS has brought a lot of funny moments since joining the event. He does however have an average of 1251 points, that doesn't show the true power he possesses. 77th, AIMSY. Our first rising player, AIMSY's been getting better and better at the event with each passing tournament, now being a Sands of Time king, which has helped them to an average of 1371 points. 76th, SNIFFERISH. And with that we have now reached our first winner with SNIFFERISH, winning her first ever tournament in MCC 21 with an amazing first time performance which boosts her score to 1392 points. Okay, wow, we've only just done 10 players. I think this calls for a speed round as we quicken things up, starting with 75th, RT Games. The Drift King only took part in 1 tournament this season, being MCC 16, where he got a score of 1408. 73rd, Elena and Eric. We come to the friends of Elena and Eric, who are our first tie for this season, both achieving a score of 1,416 points, with Eric also being crowned our second winner after taking home the crown in MCC 23. 72nd, Ginelli. Only 2 points ahead of them on 1,418 points is Ginelli, who's proven herself to be a brilliant strategist since joining the event, unfortunately losing out on Dodgeball twice this season in both her first and last event. 71st, Velvet. A hole-in-the-wall champion, Velvet definitely has something about him for the future, but for now his score is 1,452 points. 70th, CORVUS. Kara is still hunting down a win after MCC 1, but has shown a lot of improvement this season, coming 25th 3 times in a row at the end to get an average of 1,458 points. 69th, ANTVENOM. A Minecraft legend but a relative newcomer to MCC, ANTVENOM is training to get better and better, but currently sits on 1,468 points. 68th, Good Times with Scar. On to winner number 3 now, and our first Hermit. Scar's proven to be quite the duo partner to JoJo, with them winning in MCC 25 and just missing out on Dodgeball last event, all cultivating to a score of 1,482 points. 67th, RENDOG. You get one Hermit and then the rest come pouring out as well. Unfortunately not a winner this time around. Ren still has a respectable score this season of 1,848 points overall. 65th, Michael McChill and GUMI. Another tie duo this time around, both of these competitors just missed out on victory, with Michael just not making it into Dodgeball and GUMI unfortunately losing when she made it. They can both be proud of their score however of 1,513. 64th, Critic ZEUZ. What a season for this man, from originally being at the back of the pack to a superb training arc that led him to his first victory in MCC 21. ZEUZ looks like the real deal now and could definitely pick up more wins in Season 3. But beginning of the season performances do leave him with a score of 1,518 points. 63rd, Blushy. 1 point ahead of him on 1,519 points is Blushy, who is also a winner in Season 2, getting her crown in Underdogs, which unfortunately does mean her incredible stats from there don't count. Even so, she can be incredibly proud of her achievements since rising. 62nd, Full Symmetry. 3 winners in a row, Full's picked up another crown in MCC 17 to add to her collection, unfortunately just missing out on her 4th in MCC 20. But our Dodgeball Queen still has a good average of 1,539. 61st, Catherine Elizabeth. She just killed TommyInnit and is feeling good, and by that I mean all the way back in MCC 14, her only event this season, where she got a score of 1,547 points. 60th, Quackity. And we can finally end our speed round with the one and only Quackity, who is an MCC 15 winner where he killed Illumina and Puns in 1v1s because he's just that strong, giving him an average of 1,570 points. However, before we continue onwards with the rest of the list, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to subscribe, because such a huge effort went into making it, so it would mean everything to get your support. Anyway, let's move on to 59th, Captain Puffy. Our beloved Sheep Sea Captain has had an unfortunate Season 2, being to 2 Dodgeballs and unfortunately losing out on both. But with a score of 1,574 points, she's still an absolute hero. 58th, GIZZY. GIZZY only took part in one event this season, being the Halloween event of MCC 18, where he got a score of 1,589 points. 57th, Slimesicle. That's right, one of the funniest little guys out there was superb in his very first event, getting 22nd and almost heading to Dodgeball. His second event sadly didn't go to plan, but he still comes home with a mighty average of 1,602 points. 56th, Shovel. The ever so wonderful Shovel has continued to be in every event possible, with her superb win in MCC 26 being her third and bringing her to a score of 1,613 points. 55th, Pearlescent Moon. Our longest running player without a win, it surely has to happen soon for Pearl, who's been brilliant this season and is so unlucky not to have a coin yet, despite her average being 1,626 points. 54th, Gemini Tay. From one hermit to another, the incredibly wonderful Gemini Tay got her first victory this season in MCC 20, adding up to her having an average of 1,684. 53rd, Spifey. 2 cameos this season from Spifey and 2 30th place finishes, despite 400 points between them both, gives him a score of 1,686 points. 52nd, Skeppy. From Spifey to Skeppy, who of course won his one and only event this season in MCC 24, with him getting 1,691 points. 51st, the DHEORIONSOUND. A 2-time winner in MCC 22 and 26 and an absolute king, Ollie has been superb with his dodgeball winning shot in the latter tournament being a particular highlight, along with his score of 1,723 points. 50th, Solidarity Gaming. Perhaps one of the most inconsistent players there is. Some events he wins, like in the last one of Season 2, MCC 28, and then others he's 40th. But either way, he's amazing with an average of 1,733 points. Only 1 point behind 49th, Jack Manifold. Somehow Jack's been to 4 dodgeballs this season, and yet he's still not managed to win a single round, perhaps making him one of the most unlucky players despite a great score of 1,734. 48th, CubFan135. Cub unfortunately just missed out on victory in MCC 20, being his best ever event, which has helped bump up his average to 1,748 points. 47th, WILBUR SOOT. Perhaps the most intense storyline of MCC, Wilbur's almost marriage with Ace Race has been extraordinary, being many people's favourite part of the event. Oh, I should also mention he has an average of 1,746 points, but that's almost nothing in comparison to the intense love-hate relationship between the two. 46th, Bad Boy Halo. Bad Boy Halo has been absolutely incredible in Season 2, getting 2 wins in MCC 16, his second ever event, and MCC 24, giving him an average score of 1,786 points. 45th, Finster. Absolutely insane, Finster never seems to lose when it comes to dodgeball, being another winner from 16 as well as in 23, being superb with a bow and getting a point tally of 1,788 points. But with that being said, I think it's time for another speed round, starting with 44th, PONK. Still yet to win, but looking better and better each event. It won't be long till PONK holds that special coin, with an average of 1,802 points. Only 1 point behind 43rd, KARL Jacobs, who took part in one event this season, MCC 17, along with PONK in his team, getting a score of 1,803 points. 42nd, Dan TDM, a Minecraft legend who only took part in one canon event, being the very first of this season, getting a score of 1,810 points. 41st, Impulse. One of our newcomers from Underdogs, he took part in MCC 29 as his first canon event, getting a score of 1,904 points. 40th, Beckiamon. Talking of newcomers, Beckiamon was our final of the season in 29, where she teamed with Impulse and got a score of 1,932. 39th, GRIAN. One of the highlights of the season has to be GRIAN's famous win in MCC 17, with the most nail-biting dodgeball we've ever seen. He's been slightly unlucky, but still brings home a brilliant average score of 1,953. 38th, INTHELITTLEWOOD. For one event, Martin was the player with the most events without a win. That was until MCC 29, where he remedied this, winning and boosting his score to 1,962. 37th, WISP. A king at BattleBox, WISP won the very first event of the season, MCC 14, with a superb performance. It's been a while since we've seen WISP, but hopefully we'll see him soon, but his average for this season was 1,965 points. 36th, Sneak Snag. From the first event winner to the last one, Sneak has been sensational since joining, also winning in MCC 19, helping him just beat WISP by 1 point with a score of 1,966 points. 35th, Awesome Dude. In a very similar situation to his often teammate PONK, Sam somehow has still not won despite being awesome every event and bringing home an average of 1,970 points. 34th, Fwip. Very unluckily, Fwip came 4th, 4th and 3rd in his 3 events this season, reminiscent of a certain player coming soon. Hopefully he'll be back to win next time around, but his average this season was 1,987. 33rd, Foolish. A god with a bow, he's unfortunately only been able to show that in Dodgeball in a non-canon event, but his amazing showcases in Meltdown will never be forgotten, netting him a score of 1,989. 32nd, Sylvie. Definitely one of the most improved players, Sylvie's just got better and better this season, with her winning in MCC 18 doing superbly ever since, and being our first player with over 2,000 points with a score of 2,014. And finally, 31st, Krinios. The wonderful Krinios unfortunately has not been able to pick up a win this season, but with constantly good performances, he picks up an average score of 2,023. Well, with that being done, let's head on to our incredible top 30, starting with 30th, Captain Sparklez. This season has been monumental to the Minecraft legend and our captain as he finally picked up his first victory after a superb performance in MCC 22, in one of the most feel-good moments of the event, before picking up his second victory last event, bringing him to a score of 2,074 points. 29th, Ryguy Rocky. Ryguy unfortunately didn't spend 100 days as an MCC champion this season, but he did come very close, with his team finishing second in MCC 19, and then 2 third place finishes in a row for MCC 24 and 26, all coming together for an average of 2,077. 28th, Preston Plays. Joining this season, Preston has taken part in 3 events so far, with his very first being his best, coming 12th and almost making it into Dodgeball. Unfortunately, 2 weaker events lead him to a score of 2,083 points. 27th, Filza. It's a bit of a drop for Filza, who was the 10th best player in Season 1. However, a shaky start has now turned into a resurgence as he's got better and better, with a win in 26 now putting him on 4 victories, when paired with his 19 win as well, resulting in 2,101 points overall. 26th, Hannah Rose. One of the best newcomers to the tournament, Hannah's been wonderful since joining, despite her team so far not proving to be the strongest. It's very exciting to see what she'll do come next season after her brilliant performances so far, with a score of 2,110 points. 25th, Smager. The organiser himself sits in 25th, also with 4 wins now after victories in MCC 14 and 18. He's been sensational with his team creation this season, and I want to take a moment to just thank Scott for all he does, because he's amazing. And so is his score of 2,139 points. 24th, 5UP. A surprise standout player of this season to many, I knew 5UP would have the ability and the motivation to get better and better. What I didn't expect was that it would be in the very first event of this year, MCC 20, where he grabbed his first and only victory so far, but I'm sure he'll add another one soon. His average sits on 2,198 points, but I expect that to be more come next season. 23rd, Rambo. Jack Manifold's competitor for the most unlucky player, Rambo has somehow still not managed to get into Dodgeball. with a curse that rivals the captain's original one, with 5 third place finishes and 3 fourth place finishes being both incredibly sad as well as unlucky, and all leading him to an average score of 2,215 points. 22nd, Smallish Beans. The Beans has been really strong this season and has shocked even me with just how well he's been able to do. Despite only 1 victory, it definitely feels like he deserves much more as he comes home with a score of 2,247 points. 21st, Tubbo. Yeah, this is the one I feel is going to shock a few people, but Tubbo has actually been very good this season, even when drunk or leaking Noxcrew secrets. He won in MCC 17, being his only victory so far, but with more incredible performances, he'll add to that soon. For now though, his average score sits at 2,256. 20th, Tap L. The amazing Tappel unfortunately had to drop out of MCC 28, but that didn't affect his score and most importantly made sure that he didn't drop out the top 20. Despite no victories this season, he's still been very good and has a score of 2,322 points. 19th, TommyInnit. 3 T's in a row as Tommy has really proved himself this season, taking the event a lot more seriously and going for victory, which he got a lot of in MCC 19 and 22. However, it should have been more as he's been to Dodgeball 3 times in his last 4 events, unfortunately losing confidence in the big game. But don't let that distract you from his incredible score of 2,322 points. 18th, George Not Found. Another shock, George has got better and better, especially in his duo with Dream, which has helped him push forward to greatness, getting wins in MCC 24 as well as many other strong performances that have led him to an average of 2,328 points, which hopefully we'll get to see him challenge once again next season. 17th, Meths. One of our retired players, Mess played in the Halloween event in one of the most insane teams ever that unfortunately didn't get the best result. But still, his average of 2,390 points is definitely incredible. 16th, CPK. The legend that is CPK is honestly one of the most improved players I've ever seen this season and has definitely been very rewarded to his commitment to the event, with wins in 16, 21 and 25, as well as a lot of dodgeball appearances, which have all added up to an average score of 24,018 points. 14th, VIXELLA123 and Kratzy. Icons of the event, the 123 and Dave share this spot despite completely different stories, starting with Vic, who appeared once in MCC 14, doing superbly with his team, shocking many. Meanwhile, Kratzy also did wonderfully, despite still searching for that elusive second win. They both continue to be much loved by the fans, and perhaps we may see them battle each other again in the future, however unlikely it might seem. For now, they both have a score of 2,429. 13th, H-Bomb 94. Our first ever 4-time winner in MCC 14, and then our first ever 5-time winner in MCC 20. H-Bomb is a legend of the event and will forever go down as being one of, if not the greatest leader in MCC. However, this season he finally got first place individually in MCC 24, which has helped him to an average score of 2,507. 12th, Antfrost. Another winner of MCC 20, Antfrost has shown throughout this season how much he loves the event and everything to do with it, showing so much passion as well as getting better and better, so much so that he can now lead teams on his own. And with that, I'm excited to see him eventually become an S tier, because I'm 100% sure he will. But for this season, he has an average of 2,615. 11th, Fundy. It's been so long now that Fundy hasn't been in the event that it can be forgettable just how brilliant he was doing at the start of the season, getting top 10 finishes in all but one event where he came 11th, so does that even count? Unfortunately, none of these resulted in a win, but it does give him a superb score of 2,658 points, as we now head in to the wonderful top 10, starting with 10th place, SB737. Our hardcore 100-day master and resident 7th place sitter has done just insanely good this season, especially with very limited event time, only being in 4 events, coming 14th once and then 7th 3 times in a row, which as I said is pretty nuts, especially with the gaps in between each event. This led him to a mighty win in MCC 17, as well as a score of 2,735 points. 9th place, Pizza Hut. Talking of MCC 17 winners, we get to Pete, who absolutely dominated that event, doing incredibly well and leading his side to victory. Unfortunately, that was his only win of the season, and there's been a lot of unfair noise around Pete, who is still so brilliant, getting highly individual place finishes in lowly placed teams. I for one can't wait to see what he does in Season 3, but for now his Season 2 average is 2,769 points. 8th place, Dream. A winner in multiple events this season, Dream secured 2 victories in a row in MCC 15 and 16, and in his last ever event, MCC 24, as he announced his retirement from the tournament with a score this season of 2,803 points. 7th place, JoJo Solos. An absolutely wonderful addition to the event, the incredible JoJo Solos is of course one of our glorious MCC Rising competitors who came into the event and showed just how insanely good she was, eventually winning in MCC 25, getting first place individually as well. She's already one of the very best and will only get better from here, but this season's average is 2,818 points. 6th place, Puns. Well, doesn't Puns just love winning the last tournament of the season? Just when it looked like he might not pick up a victory, he comes in with the turkeys and does brilliantly, securing his first and only victory this season, despite doing pretty epic throughout, which has all come together to a point score of 2,853. 5th place, Fruitberries. A green god, Fruitberries has carried on being sensational throughout Season 2, pushing himself to be absolutely inspirational, especially in games like To Get to the Other Side and Sky Battle, where he's been insane, all resulting in him clutching a victory in 26, with a spooktacular performance that helped him get a score of 2,987 points overall, just missing out on the 3,000 mark that starts with 4th place, Quig. Quig has the exact same story as Fruitberries, being superb throughout the season, but not managing to get a win until that all changed in MCC 23, with his first victory for so long that was fully deserved after he was sensational in that tournament. He's had a bit of a gap in tournaments since, but I'm sure he'll be back in Season 3. For now though, in Season 2, he gets a score of 3,017 points, only 3 behind 3rd place, Purpled. What a rookie season for Purpled, who can legitimately count himself as one of the best ever already, after absolutely incredible performances throughout, only finishing outside the top 5 twice, and one of them was his very first tournament. It's honestly going to be very interesting to see Purpled in the future, because he seemingly makes every team broken, especially his team in MCC 22, where he won on only his 3rd event. For now he has a score of 3,020, but I have a feeling he might be on top next season, although it'll be a battle against 2nd place, Sapnap. If you're wondering why so many of the top 10 don't have lots more wins, it's because of the one and only Dodgeball King himself, Sapnap, who won not 1, 2 or 3 events this season, but 4, becoming the second 5-time winner, being just absolutely insane in every event. So much so that he should be cemented on the top of Season 2 with a score of 3,131 points. However, one thing stood in his way, and that was first place and the best player of Season 2, Illumina. What can I say? The god of speedrunning is now a god of MCC as well, being absolutely immense throughout every single event with 3 individual first places and only finishing outside the top 5 once. And even then his team came third. However, we then get to the tragedy of Illumina, who despite being the very best, ends Season 2 without a win. Which is crazy. But we can't let that take away from just how absolutely insane he's been, cementing his legacy as the king of Season 2 and a legend. But with that being said, we now reach the end of this mammoth video, which has been insane to make. So if you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe and share, because it really makes the world of difference. I also have to thank the Ultra Sheeplord and their team, because without their incredible effort throughout the year, none of this would have been possible. However, most importantly, I also have to thank you for watching. Not just this video, but my channel this year. Everything has been absolutely wonderful, and I'm so proud of what this channel has become. You're all amazing. Now I'm heading on to the top 100 of all time. Thank you so much for watching once again. And of course, peace.